All right, guys, welcome to day one of distance learning. But luckily, this one's going to be a lot different than anything else that you've been used to potentially experiencing for distance learning. Today, you're going to have several different things. One, you're going to have a lesson that I'm going to do that you're going to be seeing on my iPad as I do it. Two, as we go along, I want you to either find a piece of paper or find a whiteboard and a whiteboard marker, find a scratch piece of paper. Anything is going to work for this, okay? And all I want you to do is follow along like I'm there with you, like I'm in the classroom with you. So today we're going to be looking at geometry. Hip, hip, hooray. So geometry is super duper fun. You started a while ago back in kindergarten and maybe in first grade, figuring out that this is a triangle, this is a square, and this is a rectangle. Now, what you have probably figured out in fourth grade is that we need to know a lot more information about these things. For one, if I were to draw you a square, if I were to draw you a nice little square there, it's not perfect, it's okay. Draw yourself a square on your scrap piece of paper that you have there. I'm going to label this with a side length of 4. Now, I want you to think to yourself and see if you can beat me to it. What would I label the other 3 sides if I wanted to label the lengths of all those 3 sides? I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds here. And feel free to pause the video if you haven't gotten that written down yet. But because this is a square, we know that all 4 sides are equal. So that means my 4 sides would be right there. 4, 4, 4, and 4. Now, if we wanted the perimeter, now we've got some math that we actually need to do, okay? So on the screen, just off to the left here, to the right, just off to the right here, I'm going to put up 4 different equations or number sentences. They are actually equations. They have unknowns in them. And I want you to select which one you think would be our correct equation for finding perimeter. So let's hope that you selected the right one. I'm betting that you did. But our equation for perimeter is that we need to add up all the sides. So we're going to add up length plus width is equal to P, as in perimeter. So hopefully we remember how to do that, okay? Now there's several other things that we might want to know how to do or know about a shape. Right now, we know how far it is if we were to start here at one edge and we were to travel all around and get back. We know exactly how long or what the distance that would be. But what we don't know is if we wanted to paint the area. What area does it take up? As with what we just did, I'm going to have you go in and select right over here what you think the formula for area is going to be. What equation are we going to use to find the area? So I hope you chose the right one there. Our formula for area is going to be the length times the width. Now let's do this with these numbers that we have right now. So if I'm going to go in there, I'm just going to select a new color here. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to start labeling. My first length I'm just going to choose this one right here. That color is very similar. I am going to choose this side right here. I'm going to say that's length 1, and we're going to call that 4. Then I'm going to choose length 2. Or I guess I'd want to choose the other length, and 4. And you might realize by now, these are all going to be 4. Now, if I add up 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, I hope you've already written this down. That one is going to be 16. Now, if we're looking for area, I am going to choose a length and I'm going to choose a width. A length being a distance from one side to the other, and width being a separate distance from one side to the other. So I might choose length 4, and on this case, I would also choose length 4. Now, squares are interesting, and you might already see why. Squares are super interesting because 4 times 4 is also 16, so its perimeter equals its length, or equals its area. Interesting. Let's move on. This time I'm going to give some numbers to you, and I want you to follow along, draw the picture that I draw, and see if you can get the correct numbers. So this time, I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, that was really bad. This time, I am going to go ahead and I am going to draw a beautiful rectangle. There we go. I've got a nice little rectangle here. Is it perfect? No, but that's okay. So I'm going to start by drawing. I'm going to label this length as 10 and this one as 6. So if we have a side length of 10 and a side length of 6, I want you to do 3 things. I want you to, 1, tell me what the side lengths of right here would be and what the side length right here would be. Next, I want you to tell me what the area is going to be here. I'm going to flip it around on you. The area. So what I would suggest is writing an equation and then solving that equation. Next, I want the perimeter. And I want an equation. And I want you to write down what the perimeter would be. Okay, I hope that you've figured that out, that this is going to be 6 and this is going to be 10. Our area, our formula for area is length times width. Our length being 10 and our width being 6. So 10 times 6 is equal to 60. Next, for perimeter, we're going to add our length plus width plus width. So with length plus length and width plus width being 10 plus 10 plus 6 plus 6, we end with a total perimeter of 32. Check your answer with what you got. See if you got the same thing. Moving on. A couple more things we're going to talk about. I'm going to draw some triangles here. Let's change. I'm going to draw you 3 triangles, and I'm going to label them with different labels. I'm going to label this one as triangle A. I'm going to label this one as triangle B. And I'm going to label this one as triangle C. Okay, now I'm going to have several different questions pop up right over here. Right now, the first question I'm going to ask you is to tell me which triangle is an acute triangle. Give that one a shot. Now I want you to do which triangle is a, let's go obtuse. If you got the acute one, this one should be nice and easy for you. And lastly, by product of elimination, you've probably figured out which one it is, but if not, I'm going to have you select which one's the right triangle. Nice work. Now, I hope that for the right triangle, I'm going to start by explaining that one. The right triangle, there's one thing that is super duper important about that right triangle. It is B, and it's because of this beautiful little square right there. This little square tells you that that is a right angle, meaning that that is 90 degrees. No doubt in your mind, 100%, even if it's not perfect when you drew it, you're telling me by drawing this cute little square thing on the inside, right here, you're telling me that that no doubt 100% is 90 degrees. Next, acute. Acute is a cute little tiny little angle. That's how you can remember that one. You're looking for a small, cute little angle. And when we say small, we mean doesn't stretch out all big, right? So right here, we've got 3 little angles. Do you just see how cute they are? They're just so adorable. So this one is our acute angle. And lastly, we're looking for obtuse. Obtuse is big. It's kind of like, ooh, I'm obtuse. He's huge. And number C, letter C down here, is the obtuse triangle. I hope that you got this one right. We are going to have one more example and one more problem that we're going to work on today. Our last problem here is going to be a little bit tricky, and that's okay. I'm going to give you a weird shape here. Oh, it's not going to let me. I'm going to give you a weird shape here. And if you watch me draw this weird shape, oof, that one's a goofy one. I'm going to start labeling some sides, but not before I eliminate a little part of this here. Let's get rid of this section. We're going to get rid of that. We're just going to have it be. I'm going to be a little nice to you here. So I'm going to label this side as 8. I'm going to label this side as 3. I'm going to label this side as 3. I'm going to label this side as 10. I'm going to label this side as 4 and this side as 3. Now, there are 2 things that I want you to solve for here. We're going to start by solving for perimeter. Remember, when you solve for perimeter, you need to add up all the side lengths. And before you start, I want you to ask yourself whether you know all of the side lengths. If you don't know all the side lengths, you probably want to figure those out before you go on and try to find the perimeter. Next, I'm going to have you solve for area, but first, let's solve for perimeter. I'm going to give you a couple minutes here, and then I'm going to have you select from a series of answers what you think the perimeter might be. So, what I would suggest is that you first write out the equation for perimeter, and then write out the equation using the numbers that you have here, and then add them all together if that's what you want to do, and then get your answer. And then please select your answer from these ones right over here. All right, I'm assuming you finished that and did probably pretty well. Next, I'm going to have you do something a little bit harder. We're going to do area. Area is much harder with these shapes, okay? I'm going to give you a chance to pause the video right here and try to figure this out for yourself. I bet you that you can, and I want you to give it your best shot. So pause the video and see if you can figure out what the area is. Welcome back. If you didn't pause the video, this probably sounds really weird. Pause the video now if you didn't already do it. Go do it now, yeah. Perfect, welcome back. Woo, that was a hard one. But I'm assuming you did pretty well. Follow along and see if you did it correctly. So there's a couple different ways that you could have done it. I choose always to just kind of break it up in what I see first. So we're going to break it up first here. And then I'm thinking I want to break it up here. Next, I need to figure out my side lengths. So this one right over here is 8. And this right here is 4. That tells me that this is probably about halfway. And that right over here, this side length is 3. This one is also 3. So that tells me that this is 3. And if this one right here is 3, then this one right here is definitely taller. And I can see that it's a little bit taller. Okay, but it's different by 1. Now, because they share this bottom section, I'm going to take 8 and I'm going to subtract that one extra one that we had right here. So my total side length is going to be 7. And then I'm going to split it up because I know this one's 3. I know that 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. So now I need to look right here. So I've got 10 total, and I took away 3 from the top. So that leaves me with 7 right here. I think I've got all my side lengths. Now, the formula for area is equal to length times width. So let's do that several times. Right here, I've got an 8 and a 3. So I am going to do 8 times 3, which gets me to 24. Next, I've got a side length of 3 and another side length of 3. That gets me to an area of 9. And then I've got a side length of 7 and a side length of 4, leading me to 28. Hooray, I'm done. But not! We actually have to finish up a little bit. So we need to add all these together because we're trying to find the area of the whole kit and caboodle here. So let's take our 3 numbers here. We've got 24. We've got 28. Let's put that one on top. And we've got 9. So let's add these together. 8 plus 4, 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 9 is 21. I'm going to write that 1, and I'm going to carry the 2. Next, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So our total answer for the area of this is 61. Thanks for hopping on today. I hope that you followed along and tried your best. If you didn't get all of them right, that's okay. We will see you soon. Stay tuned for, come back, check in tomorrow. Your teacher will have posted the next video here, and we will be waiting. I will be waiting here for you. Have a good day.